brings about a lot of stuff. So eventually what you have is the spiritual nature acting with this physical nature. We have, out of this interaction comes what we call an-nafs, the self, which is bigger than the ego in the English language. The ego is a component of the bigger self, yes. And then you have al-qalb, the heart. And then you have the fitrah. And then you have al-aql. Al-aql means reason, not necessarily intellect, but reason. Whatever is reasonable, whatever makes sense. And none of those are mutually exclusive. They overlap a lot. So you don't have something called al-nafs and something called al-qalb. No, because these don't function at the same level. So al-qalb sometimes actually contains some of the aspects of what we call the self or al-nafs. And the nafs also contains some of the aspects of what we call the heart. Because what's happening inside of us, the result of the mixture of the soul and the body, is a very complex system within us. And the language that we use to talk about this complex system has also to be complex. The problem is that people at an introductory level go all the way into the complex terminology. So we start confusing. We think the heart and the nafs or the self are two separate entities. No, this is one level of conceptualization, that's another level of conceptualization. Unless you recognize the complexity, you are sure to get into a lot of confusion and inaccurate conclusions. So where psychology comes in, so this mixture between the soul and the body, it creates what we call a nafs, which consists of three main parts. The cognitive level, which the Muslim scholars call al-quwwa al-ilmiyya, the capacity for knowledge, for wisdom. Then al-quwwa al-iradiyya, which is the motivational system. And we have al-quwwa al-amaliyya, which is actions, the actional system or behavioral system, acting things out. This is what psychology believes humans are. Psychology believes we process information, cognitive, then we have motivational, and then we have the actional, which is acting out things outside. And then we have the affectional, which is emotions. It runs parallel to these. So when you think about things, you're processing information, and adjacent, there's a parallel line of feelings and emotions that runs parallel to this. When you develop motivations and desires or willpower about something, you are going to experience some emotions. When you act, you're going to experience emotions. This is what psychology, generally speaking, sees humans are. Now, Islam has this bubble, this circle, if you like, but Islam has a bigger circle where the soul comes in, where the fitrah, which is an expression of the soul, feeds into this system. That's not recognized in psychology. The closest they get to this is when talking about instincts, and they refer them to the evolutionary process. They say there is some kind of intelligence in evolution, and it's teaching humans to survive and so on and so forth. But again, the Islamic perspective is far bigger, and it can incorporate, if you like, it can incorporate what modern sciences, modern social sciences tell us, and it can put that in context. That's basically the relationship between what Islam tells us and what modern science tells us about human beings.